Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine McCall. I'm the Assistant City Manager and DPD Director for the City of Lowell. We've all been dealing with COVID for the past year and a half, almost 2 years. And our office, our department applied for some funds through the MDI program for a rapid recovery plan for downtown Lowell. So we've been working with our businesses about what we want our downtown to look like post-pandemic. And we did a survey, and the results of the survey showed that almost 20% of businesses wanted social media training. And Danielle, being the fantastic person that she is, organized this really quickly. So we're very grateful that you're all here. So I'd just like to take a minute to introduce Danielle McFadden, the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and Zoom extraordinaire.
Thanks, Christine. We loved working with the City of Lowell, and I just want to give you huge kudos and the whole economic development department on all of the work that you've done throughout the pandemic when you started your role. So your previous role as Director of Economic Development, 2 weeks before the pandemic? And you hit the ground running, and you, Tom, and Maria have done just an amazing job. So we've really enjoyed partnering with you throughout this and look forward to many more partnerships and events like this moving forward. Maybe some even in person, which would be great. So I'm Danielle McFadden. I'm the president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. I started here 10 years ago, and when I started, I would run social media seminars, and I also was teaching at Middlesex Community College in their social media certificate program. And at that point, I was trying to talk people into why they needed social media and telling them that it's here to stay. Well, fast forward a decade later, and everybody knows the importance of social media, especially after the past year when we're all trying to market our products and services and stay relevant during a time where people were pretty much staying home all the time. So I'm going to cover social media in terms of Facebook, some LinkedIn, some Twitter. But one thing I was finding at the Chamber was that we have Instagram, and it was such a missed opportunity for us because I just didn't have the time to do it. And then I have two friends, Rachel Polizzotti and Amanda Claremont from Rise Social Relations Firm, and they started their company, 2 months ago, Rachel?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you are everywhere. So they were just doing such an amazing job with Instagram. I said, please help me. So they signed on to the Chamber team doing our Instagram. So I thought it would be great to kick off today with a presentation from Rise Social Media. I do that every time. Rise Social Relations Firm. I'm so used to saying social media, but Rise Social Relations Firm. And then I will talk a little bit about some social media as well. So I'm going to kick it over to Rachel.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Danielle. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's our internet that's going out or it's the sound on my computer, but I lost the first few minutes, but I'm back. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, if that's all right. Let's get this going.
And while she's doing that, if you want to introduce yourself in the chat so we know where you're from, and also we'll be monitoring questions throughout this. So feel free to either hop in and ask a question or type a question in the chat so that we can, get to everything that you're hoping to cover today.
It's not giving me the option.
All right, let's try that again. You should be able to. Is that working now?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Awesome.
All right, so my other half could not be here this morning. She has a meeting at the same time, so it worked out fine. But my partner is Amanda Claremont, and she works primarily for the Greater Lowell Health Alliance. So you probably have met her, and definitely seen her at networking events. So we joined forces in March, and I've been doing consulting work for social media for small businesses for about almost 2 years now. And we kind of got the idea that she had asked me, why don't you do more of this? And I said, well, we still have the plumbing company. I feel really taxed right now. There's so much going on. So we decided that the best way to go about this was to join forces and do it together. So we could take on a little bit more and get a little bit more organized. So that's what we are doing. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how we can leverage social media for your small business and go from there. So we have found that the numbers of people using social media has absolutely skyrocketed in the last year and a half. And obviously that's because everybody is at home, whether you're just working from home now, or if you find yourself that you're just not going out, everything has kind of changed in the last year. So people are using their phones more than ever. And that has definitely reflected in the amount of people joining social media platforms and the amount of time they're spending on those platforms. And so business development as a whole has changed as well. People are doing business and making monetary decisions based on what they're seeing and being influenced on social media. So why this is so important for small businesses to be on social media. So I just want to talk big, broad overview of some of the apps that we use and why we think that they're helpful. So one of the things that we do is that we brand everything that we do. So it looks very similar. It doesn't have to look identical. You don't want to be repeating stuff over and over and having everything look the same, but you want to have everything look cohesive on your social media platforms for your business. So some of the apps that we use are Lightroom. We put specific presets in and we use those for each and every photo that we take for our clients. We use Crello, which can be used to put some graphics and the text together, make it mesh and look nice. And then Snapseed we use for a bunch of different editing options. And then when we're making videos for clients, we're using Viva Video, which there is a paid version. None of these that cost money except for Viva Video. We use the free versions of everything because why not? But Viva Video, we pay for the, it's like $20 a year, and you can get all the watermarks off any video that you're putting together, which is helpful. PixArt for the same reason, editing clips, small clips is very helpful. And then I feel like everybody must know Canva right now. And it seems to be a really great tool for all kinds of things, everything from a simple flyer for your business, an advertisement, and an event, all the way up to animating everything. You have the option to animate anything through Canva. So then one of the methods that Amanda and I have put together is we do what's called the social media stopwatch. So to back up a minute, usually what happens is we get contacted by a small business in our community that says, I'd love to know what you guys are about and what you're doing. They've heard of us maybe from Danielle or somebody else. And so we constantly hear that people are overwhelmed by social media. They know how to use it. They're on it personally, but to get their business ramped up to where they want to be seems like such a gap and they don't know where to begin. So what we do is we back it up. And some of the things that work really well are putting together a simple content calendar. You hear that term all over the place right now, but if you're sitting down and actually doing it, you're seeing that it's so useful and it actually helps you spend less time on social media if you're organized. We put together either 30, 60, or 90-day content calendars for all of our clients. We do it the month before the month that's coming up so that we don't think about it. They don't think about it. We don't have to call somebody in the morning and be like, is the webinar information right? Are we doing this? No, it's all organized. Everything is planned in advance. But if you are overwhelmed by social media, one of the methods we have come up with is called the social media stopwatch. And so set a timer on your phone for 30 minutes. Try it once or twice, 3 times a week, maybe. And in that amount of time, I'll go to the next slide here. In that amount of time, take a picture of something that you can describe your business with. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're talking about, but as a whole, something that relates to your business. Try your hand at branding that photo just a little bit to something that matches the theme of your overall business. And then dive into content writing of one specific thing that you want to talk about for your business. It doesn't have to be, you're not trying to tell every service, every product, your whole story of why you started your business or why you work where you do or whatever it might be. Pick one specific thing and hone in on that. And then this was for Shop
Rachel, could you talk a little bit about like an overall branding? So like what you do to kind of make it look like a cohesive look. Like for our Instagram before you and Amanda started helping us with it, it was kind of all over the place. So can you talk about like is there a particular filter that you use or for each photo, or how do you kind of make the brand look cohesive?
Yeah, definitely. So it's totally different for each and every business. For the chamber, it's even kind of broad as well. What we do is we have our clients fill out an ideal client worksheet, which just means, who do you want, if you have a storefront, who do you want to walk through your storefront? Who do you want to do business with? Who do you want your perfect client to be? And what do they look like? What do they act like? Where do they shop? What do their families do? Are they going to soccer with their kids on Sunday? Because that's the place that we're going to find them online. And we're going to get, or what you can do is get the information that you are trying to share with the world in front of them. So with that ideal client worksheet, and you can do this on your own too. You can do a brainstorming activity where you're just trying to figure out where those clients are, what they're doing, how they're acting, where they're shopping, things like that. Get in the head of who you're trying to attract. And then with your branding, try to think in a way that, what are they going to be attracted to and what are they looking for? If you have a product or a service, it's always different. But with the presets are just a cover, basically, of how you can put a filter on your photo, and they're all different depending on what you do. If you have a product that's for a vacation line or something that people might be attracted to, you're doing bright colors. If it's hard to explain like what would attract certain people in what ways, but whatever you're trying to do, just stick with one type of branding. So for the presets, I always use the same preset for every single client for all their photos. It's always different for every client, but it's always the same one for that client. And then there's other ways to brand so that you're trying to talk in a way. So the text of all your posts are talking to your clients in a way that they're going to respond to. For example, my husband and I own Paulazzotti Plumbing and Heating, and we've grown our business entirely on Instagram. And so I started off by typing out the actual text for every single post on Facebook and Instagram as a homeowner, because that's who we're attracting. And so I would talk about struggles that we're having, on these hot days, wouldn't it be great to have an outdoor shower? I'd post about that. I'd get 5 messages about people wanting to know what the cost of an outdoor shower would be to hook that up, little things like that. So try to switch your role, because what people struggle with when they're trying to ramp up social media for a business is that they're up here. And so they speak, it's hard to change the language to be in a way that you're, talking to a person that you're looking to bring in, not talking down, of course, but just unpacking it in a way that breaks down the details a little bit more. I hope that answered it.
Yeah, thank you. No, it makes me think of, they say when you're writing a post or copy or anything, like think about the words that your customers or clients would use to Google you, and try to incorporate some of that. So you may use a technical term with plumbing. I don't even know what that would be, so I'm not even going to attempt. But thinking about it and like, okay, well, what would they Google? Maybe they'd Google clogged versus whatever, however you put it, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's literally how you generate your own hashtags too. What you're trying to attract versus who you're trying to bring in. And so that's hashtag generation in the same sense. So yeah, and Amanda and we love to be cheerleaders online for any business in the community. And so we're happy to always share stuff. The chamber is always happy to share stuff. That's our MO right now, is just getting businesses as much engagement and viewership as they possibly can. So I think that was pretty much all we had here. Oops, nope, we had one more thing. Just this graphic that we put together. It's not, I think a lot of times when people think social media, they think this is a certain generation that's using this and being influenced by it. But the data actually shows that across the board, although it's higher at certain age levels and generations, everybody is not only using social media, but being influenced by it in a way that's how they're spending their money. Of course, attraction marketing helps this significantly, but everybody for the most part, is online in some capacity. And so if your business is not utilizing this as a form of marketing, you're definitely missing out, because for the most part, it's free. You just have to get up and running. And that was it.
Thank you so much. And maybe I'll go through my presentation and then we can kind of bring in questions, maybe even scroll through and look at a couple of Instagram accounts that you're using. And then if people have questions, does that sound good to everybody? All right, so if you want to stop yours, awesome. And then if you could monitor the chat while I'm doing my presentation, that would be great. And I see a lot of people on here that are very, do such an awesome job with social media. I see Charlie, Joe, Dot, Henry. So I might, Amanda, so we may have to pick your brains as well and have you offer up any tips or tricks that you have at the end of the presentation. But let me get mine up and running. And if you were on our seminar on Monday, you can see that I upped my presentation ante a little bit because Amanda and Rachel had such a pretty presentation. So I did use Canva to create this. Just trying to get into presentation mode. It's taking a second. All right, here we go. All right, so social media tips and tricks. And again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to hop in or type them in the chat. But I want to go over a few things. So I want to go over Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, content ideas, reviews, and toolbox. Facebook has been a long time favorite of mine for probably about 15 years now. But then when the pandemic started, I thought, well, LinkedIn, why am I not utilizing this more? I had almost 5,000 connections at that point. And it's such a great way that I can reach all of those connections on behalf of chamber members and on behalf of the chamber. So I've been doing a ton with LinkedIn. We're also fairly active on Twitter, probably not as active as some of you, but we are tweeting at least a few times a week, if not more. I also will cover some content ideas, what to do when it comes to reviews, and also kind of my favorite tools in the toolbox. All right, so in terms of Facebook, so what I'm going to do is go through the slides and then I can actually toggle over to some of our social media sites so that we can look at some of the stuff that we're doing. But in terms of Facebook, and really anywhere in social media, you want to spend the majority of the time, about 70, 80%, creating engaging content, and then the rest promoting your business. So you don't want to constantly be just all about your business all the time. You want to bring in the community and other partners and make your page as interesting and as appealing as possible to your ideal customer avatar, ICA. Promote and collaborate with others. Share what's great about the community. So we're so fortunate in Greater Lowell that even during the pandemic, albeit virtual, there's always events happening. The people are amazing. There's so many wonderful organizations, businesses. So how can you bring them into the fold and use them in terms of posting and having content ideas for your pages? Using beautiful photos and graphics. So you want things to be as eye-catching as possible. If I could see everybody right now, I'd be looking right at Henry Marte from Marte Media. He is the king of using beautiful photos and graphics. And not to be afraid of video. Video is extremely powerful on social media. And anytime you have the opportunity to upload your video directly to this specific site you're working on, the better, especially with Facebook. So Google owns YouTube. So Facebook and Google aren't necessarily best friends. So Facebook isn't gonna be like, yay, yippee, Danielle posted a YouTube link. But if I upload the video directly to Facebook, they really like that, and your organic reach will just grow tenfold in that sense. On LinkedIn and really anywhere on social media, showing people a day in the life. So you could do kind of your day in the life through Instagram and Facebook stories, but even posting on LinkedIn. And I'll show you a few examples of some things that I've done with that. For instance, yesterday, I posted a picture of me working on this presentation and a coffee from the coffee mill and said, still working on my presentation for tomorrow. You can still register. And between all of our social media promotion, our attendance registration doubled from yesterday afternoon till this morning. You could showcase your expertise by writing a nice article on LinkedIn. using polls. I've seen polls be an extremely powerful tool on LinkedIn because not a lot of people are utilizing them yet. So same thing with video on LinkedIn, not a ton of people are utilizing it. So you're really going to stand out when people are scrolling through and seeing, you know, the news feed to see, oh, wow, there's a video that really stands out. And for LinkedIn, you can upload your video directly if it's under 10 minutes. So if you have a video that's over 10 minutes, you're going to have to share the YouTube link or whatever link you have. But if it's under 10, definitely upload it directly to LinkedIn to maximize your exposure. And then I'm not good at doing this, but I'm going to tell you to do it, and I should do it too. When you're posting a link, post it in the comments. So for instance, yesterday, instead of saying, I'm working on my presentation, it's not too late to register, and putting the link within the body of the post, I should have said link in the comments, because essentially LinkedIn is going to want you to stay on their site for as long as possible. They don't want you to go anywhere. They want you to get sucked into the rabbit hole of LinkedIn or social media. So if you say link in the comments, then they're not going to kind of scroll through and see that you have the link right there. And so they're going to have more people see it. How are we doing? We're okay, Rachel? No, no questions? Okay.
Nope.
All right. So now let's talk about some content ideas. And again, I'll go through our social media profile so that we can kind of scroll through and look at some things. And then I'm going to lean on a lot of you, because so many of you are doing so many awesome things on social media. I am not the be all and end all. I don't know everything. I just really enjoy it. And I love pulling inspiration from all of you as well. So in terms of content ideas, you could create a list of different ideas that you always can just look to when you need something to post. So some things that we always do are we welcome new members. That's an easy one. It could be share an event. It could be just anything like that. Just kind of quick things that you can look through and say, okay, I have an idea for something to post, because you do want to be posting regularly. Could write down 10 to 20 different businesses, organizations, community pages that you enjoy their content that you can share directly onto your page. So that's such a super easy thing that you can be doing. So if you have a business partner or you're on the board of a local nonprofit, have them on your list. City of Lowell Economic Development, they're always sharing great resources and tools. Have them on your list. So when you're stumped, you want to post something, you just go straight to their page and find something to share that way. Engaging your audience. So you can ask your audience questions. You could do a fill in the blank. You could ask for advice. I'm starving. Where should I go for lunch today? Perhaps El Potro. But if you put something open-ended and have people tag a business in the comments, it's a way to engage your audience. You could do a this or that. We did a presentation on Monday and I talked a little bit about that. And I'm looking at Joe from El Potro again, because I want to do that. I think that would be so fun in our stories to create like a this or that, where you have two different items, whether it be for Henry, you could do two different photos, or Amanda, you could do El Potro, a burrito and a quesadilla, and you just put the two pictures up, this or that, and then you can put a sliding poll so that people have to choose which option they prefer. I did one recently on my stories with coffee, and I said something about how coffee is a must for me. Is that how you kick off your morning? And people voted yes or no. And it got a lot of engagement. It also goes to show you, stories, you can see who's looking, but some people are clicking through so quickly. So if you put a poll up there, it kind of gives you a good idea of who's actually paying attention to what you're posting. Give insight to your business. So you could post great reviews that you've received. Perhaps you or somebody on your staff has a work anniversary, a menu change, a new product. You have a frequently asked question that people are always asking, post it up there with a nice graphic or a photo. Employee profile, you could do a customer appreciation. So anything that provides some type of insight to your business is going to give so much more engagement than just like, come in and see us. It seems like less than a sell, more of it, you're just letting people in and showcasing what you do. You could create daily themes. So a daily theme could be Motivation Monday, Taco Tuesday, Wednesday Wisdom, Throwback Thursday, Fun Friday. So you could create daily themes. You don't have to do one every day of the week, but maybe you have one or two every week that you do without fail. On Fun Friday, you post a fun community event coming up. So just things that take a little bit of work up front to kind of figure out what you want your your schedule to be. But then after that, it becomes second nature in terms of you start to just think, oh yeah, it's Friday, I got to get that post up. Makes it a little bit easier. You could also share a funny or unusual holiday. So I like the website daysoftheyear.com. Any given day, there's going to be like 3 to 7 different holidays. Like I think yesterday was National Best Friends Day. I mean, they have a national day they probably have a national like plastic straw day. They have a national day for everything. So those can be really fun, especially if you can somehow tie it into your business. We're still good, Rachel?
Yep.
All right. I feel like I'm flying through this, but we'll have some fun kind of going through the social media profiles as well. So let's talk a little bit about reviews. So first of all, you want to be constantly monitoring for reviews. If you receive a positive review, respond to it, obviously. And it can be a quick thank you, a liking it, but letting the person, in any case, positive or negative, the person is taking the time to write something. So you want to respond in a timely manner, not a month later. You could share positive reviews on social media, on your website. You could send an email blast, use it on your marketing collateral. If it's a really great review, use it. For long, well thought out reviews, maybe somebody actually was like, so I arrived at El Potro, and in the second I walked in the door, I was greeted by a wonderful hostess who asked me how my day was. And then I sat down and I was immediately greeted with chips and fresh salsa. So some people are actually going to like write a really long review. Consider sending something a little bit more than like a like or a quick thank you. Maybe you send them a gift certificate or a longer response, or next time you come in, make sure you say hello. So really kind of catering to the people that are taking the time to write long, great reviews. And then asking for reviews. So I've done this before through the chamber where I said, all right, if you go onto our Facebook and give us a review, 5-star preferred, but be honest. And I offered free email blasts for members. I did that several years ago and we got a ton. The venue I got married at, the Nonantum in Kennebunkport, sent something a few years ago and they said, if you write us a review on Wedding Wire, you can have a free night stay. I took advantage of that. Can you believe that? All I had to do was write a quick review and I got to stay there for free. So thinking about doing something like that to kind of amp up some of your reviews. And I'm thinking when I'm thinking of reviews, I'm thinking of Facebook, Yelp, Google, primarily. Rachel, I don't know if you have anything to add in terms of reviews, because I know that that's big for your business, for Palazzotti Plumbing and Heating.
Yeah. So when I send out the invoices for all the work we do, and it has an email, which you've probably received if you've worked with us. And it just says, if you are happy, we'd love to hear about it. Here are the link to Google, Facebook, any way you want to write it. And if you were unhappy, we would like to know about it personally. So respond and we will address it. We don't give gift certificates, but there's an idea.
I mean, for Palazzotti Plumbing and Heating, it could be you send a coffee gift card and say, have a cup of coffee on us. It can be really simple, but it's so nice to receive that kind of personal touch from businesses.
Because that's also how businesses are ranking on most platforms as well. So the more reviews and more positive reviews. So it's tricky.
Yep. So, and that could be something where you're looking to amp it up and you can take baby steps. Doesn't mean right out the bat you have to be, getting 100 reviews, but maybe once a week you reach out to one customer or a client and try to get a review from them. Negative reviews, you want to respond, quickly. You want to respond. I'm seeing that polite. I need to change that, but polite and positive manner, and explain how you're going to address the problem. So you don't just want to be like, oh, sorry about that. Like say, we're really sorry about that. Now would be very timely. We're coming out of the pandemic and we are in the process of hiring, and it's been a little bit slower than anticipated, but we are working on the problem and we take pride in our business and to have excellent customer service. And we assure you at your next return, or something like that. Take it offline. You could even be, we're really sorry about that. We're experiencing a staffing shortage. We're going to send you a private message right now. Take it offline, address it, but also when people are scrolling through and seeing reviews, they can see that you did respond to it. Consider sending You've done that? Is that what you said?
No, I was just going to say we did have a question if you want to
Yes, please.
address this. So Dickie was wondering, would you recommend responding to a negative review if they were being extremely rude or unreasonable?
I would apologize quickly and then take it offline unless, I mean, you probably all can think of a customer or a client that pops up into your head that no matter what, they are unreasonable. You're never going to make them happy. They're always going to complain. I think you deal with those kind of things on a one-on-one basis, but for the most part, just respond quickly and as polite as possible, right? Kill them with kindness so that when other people are scrolling through, they can see that you responded. Would you agree with that, Rachel?
Yeah, definitely. And I would also say that the majority of the time, if you can rectify the situation, then they will change the rating on the review so that 1 star in Google could be changed and they might amend their post, or you could even write in the bottom from the business's perspective, this has been amended and fixed. Thank you for your understanding, whatever.
That's a great point. And we even had an issue a couple of years ago where we had trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that, Rachel?
I do, yeah.
Literally trolls writing stuff and that made no sense, wasn't true. We had no interaction with these people and they were just going through. So what I did is I emailed the board, and for you, it could be like emailing you all have the client and customer that is going to be no matter what. And then you have your cheerleaders who love you endlessly no matter what. They just start constantly commenting on your stuff and coming in and loving you, sending them something and having them like write a review. So I had my board go in and say, write reviews to kind of offset that, because Google wasn't going to take it down. And there was no basis. You can report it, but many times they're not going to change that, and there was absolutely no basis. So there's also always going to be the trolls as well, unfortunately.
I feel like that's a role the chamber can take online too. Is that
the troll role?
Yeah, no, that be cheerleaders for all the businesses in the community, especially online.
Absolutely. And to not only when you're thinking about your business, but do you have businesses that you love to do business with or eat at or shop at? Playing the role for them, right? Going in and leaving a review. Maybe once a week you think of a business that you can write a review for, just to kind of share the love and the good review karma around. You could consider if somebody had a really bad experience and you understand, where they're coming from, and you're like, oh, I can't believe that happened. We're really sorry. Consider sending a gift card or a discount for a future visit is completely reasonable. And it gets them back in the door to have a good experience. And then addressing any issues internally. So if it's something having to do with staff or any equipment you have or something like that, just making sure that you rectify the problem as quickly as possible so that you're not experiencing that, another negative review due to the same thing.
Well, Henry had a good comment. I'll read it real quick. He had an issue with this last year. I turned down a potential client and they left me a very negative review on Google after I told them I couldn't take on the project. Yikes.
And then I think, I'm sure you responded in a really professional way, but I'm sorry, I'm really busy. I don't have the time to take on this project, more eloquently than I'm saying right now. Anybody that reads that is going to say, wow, this person was being extremely unreasonable. Like you are not obligated to take on any particular client. It's your business. You take on the clients you want to take on. And then in terms of some videos, so I use iMovie when I'm editing on my computer. Vimeo, I've used many times, but in the past, but I'm sure a lot of people here have used that. Video Leap is an app I use. And then Powtoon is a video creator that when you want to create like cartoonish looking videos, explainer videos, that type of thing, Powtoons is really simple to use and really fun and looks really professional. Oh, where are my graphics? Oh, there. I'm like, I know I have a graphics slide. And then in terms of graphics, some of you have already mentioned a lot of these, but WordSwag, Canva, Prisma, Photo, Funya, and Poster My Wall are all some really great fun graphics tools. So definitely check those out. And again, if you have tools that you like to use, please share them in the chat. And then this is just my contact information because I will be sending out the slides after the presentation. So that is what I have for the presentation, but everybody want to walk through Facebook a little bit? Oh, there's Charlie. I'm glad you were able to make it, Charlie. And anybody feel free. Like, I don't need to be the only one talking. So if you have something that you would like to ask or add, please hop in. Go to the chamber page. Okay, here we go. So I'll just kind of scroll through and show you some things that we've been doing recently. So this is, I'm not going to play this for you. I will spare you, but this is a video that I created with Rachel and Amanda recently, to the tune of For the First Time in Forever from Frozen, but it was essentially talking about the business community opening up and how we can actually like go places and see things. So that's.
I think we need the audio, Danielle.
I'll spare you all. You can go to our Facebook page if you want to see it. But that got a really great response. And again, I think it's video, it's fun, and I can't emphasize enough to show whatever your company's, businesses, organization's personality is. Everybody's personalities are going to be completely different. We've always kind of done business with a flair, so we like to have fun while getting stuff done. So a video of me dancing through the streets isn't going to surprise many people, but for like an insurance agency, that might be a little bit different. So really honing in on what your personality is and not being afraid to be the face of your business or organization, or choosing who that face is going to be. We have a group that we do raffles called our 1 in 50 group that was kind of created as a fundraiser throughout the pandemic, just to give us a little financial boost during a time where we weren't sure where we were going to land in terms of memberships and sponsorships and that type of thing. So on our page, this is a giveaway. So anybody that I said, post the 5th picture on your camera roll and you'll be entered to win a $20 credit. So we had a lot of people post pictures and we did the drawing this morning. And that tool that I use, I've had so many people ask me about our little whale. It's called whaleofnames.com. So when you ask me, what's that whale of names? That's exactly what it is. It's whaleofnames.com. You can put in any names and then you can shuffle them up and then you can just click on the whale and it chooses a winner. So if you're ever doing some type of raffle or giveaway, what I do is I have it on Whale of Names on my computer, and then I just take my phone and I go live on Facebook Live on my phone. That way it's very transparent. I'm not choosing the winner, even if the winner is my mom, for instance, or a board member. It's all right there on Facebook via Facebook Live. And on this one, you don't even see my face. So when I do the drawings, I'm not like, hey, it's Danielle. I just like write in the post what the drawing's for and put it up there. Here's an example of sharing from another business or organization. So Enterprise Bank is big on diversity, inclusion, and equity. And they posted that they are actually they're closing their branches for Juneteenth. So I posted their post because they put so many great resources in there that I thought this is something that the community needs to see. So I shared their post. So an example of either writing down a list of different organizations that you can share, or when you're scrolling through, if something catches your fancy, you think that your fans would want to see, to share it. And then this is an example, and maybe Rachel can talk a little bit about this, but we decided that for most posts that go on our Instagram, we'll also cross promote them onto our Facebook page. So this was what was posted on Instagram today. But Rachel, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the cross promoting piece? Because you don't only do Instagram, but for a lot of your clients, you're doing Facebook as well.
Yeah, definitely. So this post right here, obviously the event was hosted by the city and the chamber. So I wanted to do a few different things, but the picture I chose was just because I didn't want it just to be a logo. I didn't want it just to be a picture of Lowell or something. I wanted it to be more personal. And then I just put the graphics right on there, and only the information that was needed to kind of draw people. First, the eye goes to the picture and the words on the photo, and then from there, they'll read the whole post. And then I tagged as many people as possible, only because then it will show up in a few different places. I tagged Danielle, Amanda, and myself, and the city and the chamber, so that if people are able to share it or at least show up on multiple different pages, that's a help too, because then it helps grow the audience.
And you use different texts and you bold things. Can you talk about the tool you use for that? And then also emojis. Do you have specific emojis that you use for each business? Like, I've heard that you should actually have like a few specific emojis that you use for your branding, so that when people are scrolling, they start to associate like, ooh, fire, that's the chamber, or like oh, there's a comment, that must be the chamber. But actually having your specific emojis too.
Yeah, so I feel like I only ever use the same like 12 emojis, but the resource I use for changing the font, and that's just another tool to get people's eyes to visually focus on certain things over the other. We are such an overstimulated society that, I mean, there's so many things going on all the time, so you have to go out of your way to attract people. So if nothing else, people are going to look at this post super fast and see social media tips and tricks. And if that sparks excitement or curiosity, then they're going to go in and read the whole thing and see the information. And I would definitely agree with the certain emojis. That's part of the branding technique of what, who you're trying to attract. Do they need that? Are they irritated by that? Or is that something that's going to draw them in even more because they think you're fun and funky, and who doesn't love a good fireball emoji?
Amen to that. And then here we had people replying right away on Instagram too, that they can't make it, but they love a recording. And you'll see as I scroll through a little bit more that we do share recordings as well on our page. This I just thought was funny because I feel like that's my life. Ooh, wow. So I thought, if that connects with me, I'm sure it connects with anybody else. And we had a few people commenting on that. Here's an example of me just kind of like a day in the life. And I've been doing this a lot in my stories, just trying to tag local businesses. Right now we have our Shop 978 campaign going on that I'll include in the chat. And so we're really trying to get the word out about that. But I tagged myself in it. I tagged the coffee mill. That's where my coffee was from. And then just put information about today. So kind of a day in the life. I'm working on my presentation right now. Give people a little bit of insight into what the day is like for you. Here's the webinar we did on Monday. So I posted the recording there. We are giving away 4, I thought it was a pair, I need to update that, 4 Red Sox tickets, courtesy of Dundalk Credit Union, to Sunday's game for anybody that takes the Shop 978 pledge by Thursday night. So I did a quick video about that and it got rejected. Not really sure why. I think it's because I said Red Sox. I think that if you're like doing giveaways for stuff like that. Here's another kind of, what?
I guess you're not even supposed to really say the word raffle or giveaway on social media. There's all these like private groups that call it waffles, or there's code names for it because that like cuts the engagement off entirely because they don't want any sort of gambling.
Yeah, that's why our raffle group is 1 in 50, like WON, and we don't say, raffle at all. Here's another engagement piece. Just what would you order from the ice cream truck? And we had several comments on that, but I'm going to show you one piece that got a ton of engagement. Here's we typically have a radio and television show where we interview our members, but we put that on hold during the pandemic. We'll bring it back this fall. So we've been doing everything via Zoom. So we've been doing a ton of interviews via Zoom that we post directly to Facebook, directly to YouTube. If it's under 10 minutes, directly to LinkedIn. If it's not under 10 minutes, we post the YouTube link, and then we post the YouTube link on Twitter as well. So interviewing, so that's even something you could do if you wanted to do interview a customer, a client, an employee, talk about a new product, post it up there. So this one got a ton of engagement. Poorly explain what you do for a living.
I feel like I had fun with that one.
Some of the comments were hysterical. They're taking a while to load. Well, I'll let you go through and look at your own leisure. But just kind of, you can see a variety of different things, right? Oh, here we go. Oh, he gets to party. That's what he does for a living. I put things through other things to make protein. I show up at people's houses and collect checks. I'm wicked. I push buttons that draw lines. So people had fun with that. And then here's just an example. I was at a community event. So I posted pictures for Pride Month, and then I linked to the calendar from the Greater Lowell Health Alliance because they have a lot of stuff going on. And then the Greater Lowell Pride Month celebration commented. I didn't even know that they had a Facebook page. So I edited the post and asked people to like Greater Lowell Pride Month celebration on Facebook. So that's kind of just a walkthrough of what we job opportunities. So, I mean, it's so broad because we represent 7 communities and almost 600 members, but there's so many different ways that you can be really creative and having content that doesn't feel like it's just the same old all the time. Anybody have any questions, comments at this point? I'd love to open it up if anybody has anything that they do on Facebook that's worked.
I think another piece might be that a lot of times people think whatever their business is, no, I don't know what to post, and I don't think people really care that much about it. We're in such a nosy culture. People want to know about your day. They want to know about every intricate piece of your business, whether or not they are actively searching for it. They're interested and curious. So share about every piece of it that you possibly can. My example to this is my favorite account on TikTok is a dentist in like the middle of the country. And he's just really good at, you know, creating interesting stuff. And so post about whatever your business is and don't be shy because people want to hear about it.
And I know personally, like I obviously I know where to look and shop local, but if I've been traveling or something and you look up a restaurant and they're not on Facebook or they haven't posted in a year, like look at the face Rachel just made, like say what? Like you have to have the presence because it just legitimizes what you do. And there's so many people that if you're not present on social media, they're going to look elsewhere to the person that is, regardless of if your product or service is better. So having that presence on social media is so vital at this point.
And like get out of your comfort zone a little bit and have some fun with it, because there's not a business out there that is not able to do posting and stories and reels. Get comfortable with the reels, because that actually has people are watching reels more than they're watching anything on Facebook, any post or any story. That's actually ranking as the highest engagement right now. And there's no cap on how many views you can get. They keep circling. If people are watching it, then they push it out further for more people to watch it. So whatever your business is, get in front of the camera, and you don't have to dance, just point and put some text over it.
So can you tell them what Reels is for people who don't know what Reels are?
Yeah, definitely. So it's just, I know a few people commented TikTok is life. It's just like TikTok. It's a video with music. The music is very specific. When you're choosing the music, it's actually what is trending the most. So don't pull music out that you love because you had it at your wedding or something. Pull the music out that's suggested because it's circulating the most. People are searching for that. Use that music, and then they've got certain reels that have dances or wording or trends that go along with it, and take a few minutes and watch them. I mean, I don't know anybody who spends just a few minutes watching them. You watch one and then you look at the clock and an hour has gone by. You've watched them, you know, you forgot to do your work. And so there's so many different ideas that you can do on them, and it doesn't have to be totally specific to your business. I mean, Danielle is doing so great at them, but Amanda and I work with a carpet cleaning company that's doing them, with gyms that are doing them, health coach. Like, there is not a business across the board that can't be involved in, you know, doing some kind of fun trend and making it work for them. And then you have the option to post them on your actual profile on Instagram, as well as on a second Reels profile. So there's 2 ways to view them. They'll show up in the thread, but then if you go to the For You page through Reels, which is just a different, you can toggle over to that on your Instagram account, and then it's all Reels. And if you show up on those pages, you're getting countless views. Amanda and I put one up, and I remember thinking, I should have fixed this. The lighting was weird. It looks really kind of foggy. I'll take it down tomorrow. And it got 12,000 views in about a week. I mean, for no reason. It wasn't even that interesting, but regardless, give it a try.
So Kate, do you mind if I show Wish?
Yes.
Because your stuff is amazing. I'm gonna go with that she doesn't care, because if okay, awesome. Thank you. Because I'm like, if it's out on social media, then obviously you want people to see it. But Kate does such an amazing job on. All right, so I just We'll play a couple. All right, wait a minute. Okay, here we go.
I'm in it for the ones with Donna.
All right, yeah, I got it. This one is like oh my gosh. So there's an example of just some really fun reels. So definitely follow Wish. And then Amanda and Rachel have been helping the chamber out with some reels. And I have absolutely no coordination. So when they ask me to do things like dance, I can't. Lucky for them, they have a good subject and that I have no shame. But let's see where. Well, this one is pretty popular. So that was just an example of Rachel pulling in popular music. And then let me go to Marte Media and pull up a couple. Do you have any tips for when you're filming reels? Like, are there any specific things? Like, I've never even filmed a reel. You use your phone.
Yeah, you use your phone. There's a few different ways you can do it. You can just take a video of yourself doing whatever, the action, the move, the lip syncing is, and then edit it through Reels. Upload it like you're uploading something in there. Or what you can do is just do it right through Instagram and video it right there. I find that taking the video first gives you a little buffer in case you mess up. You have a few options. You can kind of splice stuff together.
How long are reels? They can't be very long, right?
No, I'd say a minute at max. Yeah. They're longer on TikTok. TikTok, you can have a few minutes.
They're 15 to 30 seconds. Funny thing with the reels, I tend to use cameras instead of my phone for reels and then edit them on Adobe. But that's my business involves photography and videos. So it kind of representation of my product. So I will film with my actual professional cameras, or if you look at the one in the top left-hand corner of Fenway, I actually filmed that reel with my drone.
Yeah, and look at the engagement that Henry's getting.
Yeah, it's a very unique perspective, and I had to sign my life away to the FAA to be able to fly over Fenway.
It's amazing, but look at the engagement, and you just posted that not even a day ago, and it's been viewed 4,000 times in less than a day.
And I got more stuff from Fenway that I need to post at some point soon.
Awesome. Yeah, so definitely go through and check other people's reels, get some inspiration. But there's a ton of opportunity. I feel like we could do like an hour on reels.
Yeah, that number in the bottom of each corner of those little videos is the number of views you have on them. And obviously, like all social media, it's like a popularity contest. And so you're looking for people to view those as many times as you can get it in front of people.
And then I'll just quickly go through LinkedIn and maybe Twitter, like really quick, and then we can open it up for other people. And I know actually Charlie has done a ton of stuff with Instagram and TikTok as well. So maybe I can put Charlie on the spot as well. But so here's again the example of that I posted what I was doing yesterday on LinkedIn. I always post everything native to the site because my wording's going to be a little bit different, especially if I'm posting on LinkedIn as myself, but on the chamber page I'm posting as the chamber. So there's going to be a little bit of like an I versus we. And then sometimes the text will change to be more business focused versus a little bit more fun on Facebook. Years and years ago, I read this awesome quote and it was like, Facebook is a party, LinkedIn is a networking event, Twitter is you're passing somebody by on the street. So like thinking of these different sites as kind of different aspects of your day or what you do and treating them differently. So Facebook, you're going to wear a cocktail dress. LinkedIn, you're going to wear a suit, that type of thing. And just thinking about it a little bit differently versus cross promoting and putting the same on every single site. And I've tried using stories on LinkedIn and like one person views them. So I don't feel like they've taken off in the same way on LinkedIn. So I don't put any of my time into that at this point. Here again is the giveaway that we're doing for Red Sox tickets. So I actually post a ton of videos to LinkedIn, and a lot of people don't yet. The Pride Month, I put the list. So here I put the list of events through the Greater Lowell Health Alliance, but I didn't post about liking Pride Month celebration on Facebook because I'm not on Facebook. So I'm not going to be like, oh, and then go over there and like them on Facebook. So again, kind of tuning it to your audience. Here's an example of our chamber chat that we did, Shop 978, another chamber chat. This was really cool. Anne Marie Souza had sent me some articles and ads from the Lowell Sun from 1960. And a lot of the stuff was completely applicable to now, the way that they were talking about the business community and the different assets that we have in Greater Lowell that we should utilize to grow our business community and to grow the people that want to live in this community. So I thought that was really interesting, and that got, quite a few views. Mask mandate, a picture of this, me and Charlie with Andy from Rude Awakening. We were actually meeting to talk about TikTok. So some examples, and then I'll show you. So the video that I did, that I posted on, let me scroll down a little bit more, on Facebook, I posted directly to LinkedIn, and it's been viewed almost 7,000 times. So there, you can get a ton of engagement on LinkedIn if it's one of the areas. And we're talking about a lot of different sites. I am by no means suggesting that you need to be everywhere on every site. I think you need to know where your audience is, which we talked about that. And if you're not comfortable with social media yet, or you're like just ramping it up, pick one or two sites and focus on those. Don't feel like you need to be everywhere. It's not attainable. Look at me. I was doing a ton for over a decade on different sites, but I wasn't active on Instagram. I just didn't feel like I had the time to do it. So I had Rachel and Amanda help, and now I'm all in, right? Now I'm probably like like I'm opening the app all like multiple times a day, and I'm adding to stories and I'm commenting, and I'm like, I'm sorry, am I bugging you guys? I told you to have complete control, and now like I'm having fun with it. So that's kind of LinkedIn, and then quickly Twitter. Again, we were on Twitter, but it's not where I spend the majority of our time. I always spent the majority of my time on Facebook, but now I kind of split it between Facebook and LinkedIn, and then I'm now feel like Instagram a ton too. We do some stuff on Twitter, and hashtags are a really powerful thing that you can be using on Twitter. So here, like I retweeted, actually the city, I posted about today, the City of Lowell Economic Development Office retweeted it. I thank somebody for taking the Shop 978 pledge, retweeted a member. So it's a really fast way you can kind of share information, and that's kind of how I use it. And when I want to post a chamber chat or something that we're doing, El Potro retweeted that somebody else took the pledge. So I think where I'll be spending a lot of my time over the next couple months will be just monitoring the Shop 978 hashtag. I post our chamber chats there, again, retweeting. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to think of unique content for Twitter, but use it more as a resource to cross promote different things that we're doing, or to promote our members, just because we have a decent follower, base. So we do utilize it, but it's not my favorite site. So that's kind of a walkthrough of that. Does anybody, like Charlie, can I pick on you for a minute? Would you mind talking a little bit about your experience with TikTok and Instagram?
Sure. My experience on TikTok is relatively new. I actually just realized yesterday one of my videos hit 1 million views, so that's pretty exciting. But that's not people that like say they like it, so like I try to keep that. But TikTok I've been on only for a couple months, and I've already started that pretty good headway. As soon as I get up to 1,000 followers, I'll be able to start doing lives. And my plan is to start doing like essentially a radio show, and try to kind of take on like I'm the new Maddie in the morning, because I'm non-binary. So yeah, basically TikTok I think is the way to engage with the widest amount of people. it has the widest reach. And I think that's the kind of thing that people aren't realizing. So I'm trying to keep up with it. But yeah, I like to edit things in TikTok because it puts your handle in the corner so people can read your handle. And then I upload it to my Reels and Instagram, which automatically forwards it to Facebook. So I'm engaging with all three communities. I have the best response in Instagram and TikTok, I think. But yeah.
And feel free to post the links below. And also, you're teaching a TikTok seminar, correct, through LTC?
I don't know if I'm still teaching that seminar specifically, but there are making media classes at LTC that everybody should sign up for. They're awesome and they're free for the community. And they're going to be teaching social media making, like how to create content. Yeah, there's a TikTok class. There's how to edit film and stuff like that. Someone mentioned Adobe. I know how to use Adobe, but I have a tough time with that platform. So I use Final Cut. And same thing, I think it was the Marte, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, sorry, the media people. I follow them on Instagram. But yeah, I think if you want something to look really polished, take the time to polish it. Get the ring light, use the ring light. Like it was funny, you even showed, hey, what's up, Henry? I love your page, you have awesome stuff. If you're going to, like you said, engage as a personality, like you want to turn on the ring light, and you scrolled through and I saw the selfie of us and I had like wicked bedhead. So like, I totally am like authentic. I like people to see me for me, but I also, if I'm taking the time to do a PSA, like I'm starting a series on teaching about pronouns and teaching about different things like that. I'm going to take that day to do my hair and look good so that it's shareable content. People are going to want to look at it. Like the photo you used to promote this, that was like a really professional photo. People are like, oh, look at this, looks nice and polished. So like take the time, but also throw in the coffee with, different things.
Yeah. And I think people might look at Henry's stuff and say, oh my gosh, I could never do that. Like, I don't have a drone to fly over Fenway. I'm never going to have something that professional looking. That's his business, right? Henry, your business is photography, videography. But for me, like, that's not my business. So I'm okay with things not looking like perfect. So I think it depends on who your audience is and what your product is when you're posting. I do want to pull up Charlie's page for a second because I love the video that you just did in your little microphone. 1 second. What is your?
It's LGBT.
I got it. Got it. All right, so let me share that. Also, your videos when you went to go get the vaccine. Okay, so here we go.
Danielle, we're just seeing the still shot of your Facebook page, your Twitter page.
So first of all, how did people react to that? And what did you use to edit the video? Because you're splicing it a little bit in terms of you were in the parking lot, then you were checking in, then you were getting the vaccine.
No one could see that. Whatever you just showed, no one was able to see it.
Oh, seriously?
No.
Could you hear it? You could hear if I couldn't see it? All
No.
right, let me try again. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, can you see now? Can everybody see?
Yes.
Okay, that's so weird.
Danielle, you need to make sure you click the share audio button before you share.
All right.
When you say share screen, there's a little audio button.
Okay. It takes a village to raise a chamber. Oh, share sound. Here we go. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I need to put my password in. Let me see that. No. Okay. Let me know if you can hear that. 1 second. Does that work? Are we good?
I can't hear anything just yet.
Okay. I'll post the link in the comments. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, I'll find the link and I'll put it in there.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have any, and you can probably hear the sirens going by. Anybody else have any kind of tips, tricks, ideas, things that have worked for you?
Well, I mean, for us at the restaurant, I run all of our social media for all 4 locations, so it can be a little taxing sometimes because I'm trying to engage with 4 different communities. So I found some tips and tricks. Initially when we first started, we only had a couple, and then eventually 3 locations, and I was trying to share information about my friends and neighbors in those communities, and it became a little overwhelming, and I didn't want to pick on one community versus another. So using the stories feature has been huge, because on Instagram, what I can do is just take their post and reshare it or repost it to a story, and then put the information in, and it automatically will go to the Instagram story as well as the Facebook story. And I feel like I'm fulfilling my promise to take things, and I use more the share feature that Danielle was showing us for like events that might be happening. So if I see something happening, like now in Lowell, we have the outdoor flea market, and we have the events happening on Palmer Street every few Saturdays, or in Chelsea we have something called the pop-up markets that are happening. I'm sharing those specifically because those are places that have links that I want people to go to see when the future events are and what they're all about. I haven't mastered Reels yet, because Rachel actually just taught me something which I didn't even realize I was doing wrong. When she was showing the page with all the Reels, I didn't realize I didn't have a Reels tab there. And so now I realize I got to do something a little trickier to get my videos that I share sometimes from my customers who share these great little 10-15 second snippets of delicious looking food, and even sometimes sizzling food, which is even better, to Reels. But I use it's kind of a trial and error, and that's what I'm trying to say to a lot of folks, is that you don't necessarily have to be 15 to learn these things. I'm a 50-year-old man, and you can pick up the tricks pretty easily, and it's not as difficult to go across different media. Like, I don't use LinkedIn because I was always told LinkedIn is more like a BNI type thing. It's a business to business type thing, and you're not going to get a lot of draw that way. But I could see its versatility for Danielle as a chamber. And the same thing with Twitter. You don't really engage customers on Twitter as much as you're engaging other businesses with the hope of them sharing information. So what I oftentimes do with Twitter is I use it to share vendor things. So obviously we're a Mexican restaurant. We sell a lot of tequila. And so all the big tequila companies, I started following them during the pandemic, and I'm constantly retweeting and sharing their content and then kind of engaging it in our own. So for instance, Don Julio does a lot of fun looking things with very attractive people. So I try to take their post and share them and say, come, this cocktail, ask your server to, serve you something with this cocktail at one of our 4 locations. And I tag the tequila company with the hope that one day they'll actually share my post, and that will, that will happen. But I try to do a lot of that. So like, it's, different things for different people. So to the extent that you can create those relationships is great, and then for one further thing that I find, and it's just something that I've always, is a personal mission for me, is to create a dining community with all of our other restaurants. So, creating and using hashtags like, Lowell Eats or Yum Union for our Union Square location. We've created all of that, and we all try to use that, to create a family environment. But the other thing, and I don't know what Rachel's opinion would be, and I'd be curious, is that sometimes when a restaurant doesn't necessarily use our hashtag in their post, I'll use it in the comments to kind of really subliminally get people to recognize it. I know that doesn't pop up if somebody's following the hashtag on Instagram and all that, but I still think it's just good to encourage people to continually maybe use it the next time they post. But what I found is that I've been able to befriend a lot of people I wouldn't necessarily get to befriend if I wasn't engaging in social media so much. So now I have a lot of real legitimate colleagues and who are either other restaurant owners or other business people, and we find ways to cooperate and collaborate. Specifically, I'll give you a great Lowell example. Powerhouse Cafe recently posted something about one of their lunch takeaway things, and I said, those would look really good on our patio with a margarita, and she said, we agree. And so now we're talking behind the scenes about how we can get their folks to do it to go and then come next door and order drinks on the patio, and they can eat their lunch, and with a margarita that she can't serve. We figure out ways to kind of, cooperate, or a to-go situation where in Somerville in Union Square, in the square, we're getting the city to put in picnic benches, and the mission that we're going to be using as a hashtag is picnic in Union Square, and we're going to try to get all of the restaurants across the square to use it and get folks to order to go. And so you don't have to, if you're in the office, pick one place to eat. Not that that's a bad thing, but you can pick to go from different places and then use the public picnic areas to eat lunch together, but almost like a food court, but better, because our food's better than a food court, in downtown Lowell. So, I mean, I think my takeaway is that you can never go wrong with collaboration versus competition. It's one of the things that I was taught early on, is that there is no competition, it's all collaboration. Because if we can create a vibe where people are coming to downtown Lowell or downtown Chelmsford or wherever it might be, and everybody's shopping, everybody's eating, everybody's going to come back because they're going to see a lot of fun things to do the next time that they visit. So that's how I use social media, and it's been really successful, at least for us. So,
I love the idea of picking up food and then going and your food's great too, so you can't go wrong either way. But grabbing a cocktail, what a great way to collaborate. I love that.
Well, it's, I have to admit, Mexican food is probably not the healthiest for you, whereas Powerhouse Cafe would have a lot more healthier choices than some of our menu options. So I can be honest. So,
well, if you get the veggie burrito without cheese and sour cream, that's what I get. And I always feel pretty darn good after I'm done eating that. So,
well, you're gonna feel good. I'm not sure how many calories it is without but that's a different story for a different day.
The rest of the world needs cheese,
Sorry. Henry?
I said, but Mexican food is so good.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any other? Amanda, can I pick on you for a couple minutes? Because you do a great job with your photography too. What are some of the things that you're doing on social media?
I wanted to just share, and sorry, my youngest is playing in the corner over here. So if she screams that,
no worries.
I think it's important to just realizing trying to recently ramp up Instagram. I'm really focusing, I'm a wedding photographer, but also kind of really focusing on senior portraits now, and kind of really amping up engaging with my seniors. So Instagram for me is definitely the place. And so I think the importance of, before you post something to Instagram, you want to be actively using the app, going through, liking, commenting, and then after you post, don't just ditch the app and leave, continue commenting, and liking. So that way Instagram is seeing that you're like actually engaging and using the app. It'll kind of reward you and make sure that your posts are being seen, I think, a little bit more than just post and leave type of thing.
Awesome. That's a great point. Thank you
Yeah,
for
and to
that.
follow up on what Amanda's saying, I 100% agree. You know, I just like with reviews, I try to go, you know, and answer like real comments on my post. You know, if somebody leaves me an emoji or just the, you know, delicious or wow, sometimes I don't answer those. But if somebody takes the time to leave a, you know, a decent sized sentence or a semi-sentence, I try to go in and engage those. And sometimes the other thing that I do is, and I don't know if it's applicable, Amanda, if somebody has tagged me in a post that is relevant to something, so somebody comes in and they tag me because they were, you know, an influencer came in and had lunch or something, I'll go on to their post, which can be very annoying, and I'll respond to every single one of the comments that are relevant there. The next thing I know, I've got a bunch of new followers who knew nothing about me before now are doing it. And I have a lot of friends who are photographers and graphic designers, because in my former life, that's I represented them, and they do the same thing, Amanda. You know, they are constantly, you know, got their phones in their hand, commenting on the comments, just to get that engagement up. So, you know, I totally second Amanda's comments.
Yeah, my son actually sometimes it's like, oh, you're on your phone on Instagram all the time. And I'm like, this is like related to work. So like you might not realize that like I'm doing work stuff, but I'm doing work stuff. The other thing I wanted, this is like a kind of stories tip that I realized that I don't think a lot of people maybe know, is that tagging people on stories means that they can reshare it to their stories. So you definitely want to be tagging people because it then gives them the ability to reshare. But what you can do, because I don't, as a photographer, I don't love the way a story looks if it has a bunch of tags on it. So what you can do when you go to tag them, if you click to change the color, she's picking up a toy, like a schoolhouse, a Peppa Pig schoolhouse that is very noisy.
Oh yeah.
She was like, be quiet. No, thank you. So when you go to tag someone, when you want to change the color of the font, like you do the @ and then you put their thing, if you scroll all the way down with the color select tool to the bottom, it'll make it clear so that their tag is there so they can reshare, but it doesn't show a tag on it. If you want, I can kind of do like a little screen record and like send it to you just so you can see like
that's awesome.
But it's a great way. So I do that all the time. Sometimes I think it's nice to show the tags, like so that you're like, oh, they can see. But if your goal is not to have, like, you don't need other people necessarily to see the tags, you can make them invisible. And then you don't have to worry about like hiding it within it. It can just be there. You just make it invisible.
Love that. That is such a cool tip. I did not know that. Thank you.
To piggyback off that for 1 second, on Facebook and Instagram, if you engage with other people that you want to engage with you for like 20 minutes before you post something, it's a way to trick the algorithm. So you will get more exposure from Instagram and not just like scrolling through and like, that's passive. You know what I mean? Like you're scrolling through and just passively like stop for a second. If you see some delicious thing, right? Oh, wow, that looks delicious. Now I'm going to, you know, come to eat there tomorrow, whatever, enter. Like if you really engage, those are the people that will see it. And it's a way to get Facebook to kind of work in your favor if you're using the website or the app for like 20 minutes beforehand.
These are awesome tips. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions, comments, ideas, resources?
Definitely try to put emphasis on like behind the scenes stuff, because like people love seeing how everything's made, and stories is great for that. Because like the more stories you post, the more you pop up on your audience's homepage. So like, even sometimes I'll just do like a quick behind the scenes of like a lighting setup or editing or whatever it is, or location scouting, and people just love seeing how things are made.
Mm-hmm. Great
That's
point.
me, Henry. I'm watching all of those.
Rachel is your audience.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I hope everybody found this useful. Hopefully you got a couple of different tools and tricks that you didn't know about beforehand. We'll be sending out the slides, the recording, and the chat so that you have access to everything after. Feel free to share with anybody. We will post it. We'll post the recording too on our Facebook page and on YouTube as well. But feel free to share. We're just here to help. Like Rachel said, we're your cheerleaders. Tom, do you want to say anything from the city of Lowell before we sign off?
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. I just want to say you and the RISE team did an amazing job today. I've learned a lot of things, and right now we have a downtown Lowell loyalty program doing raffles on Facebook. So we definitely have to rethink the way we're doing that, seeing that the algorithms don't really add up. But when someone was mentioning the LTC Summer Media Makers Workshop, I actually emailed LTC now, and they already got back to me, and they said that class is open to the Lowell business community. So I'll be sharing that link as well through our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and city website pages as well. So no, but I appreciate everyone coming on, and I learned a lot, and I know there's a lot more to learn, but looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Tom. And I'm just sharing some of the links. I just shared the link to your Facebook page so that people can, you just posted about an hour ago about the Downtown Lowell Loyalty Program. So
you're the
grab
best.
that information.
Yep,
My
Downtown
pleasure.
Loyalty, Shop 978, we have everything.
Yes, we have it all. There are so many people working on behalf of the business community. So hopefully you all feel that support coming from us. But we're also accessible too. So if you have ideas, comments, concerns, please feel free to circle back to any of us at any point, because we truly are here to help. Also, we have some in-person mixers coming up.
Yes.
I know. I'm excited. I know. Yay. So we're going to be at the Athenian Corner next Tuesday at 3:30. And then we're going to be at Wamisit Lanes on June 30th. We're going to be at the Worthen House on July 22nd. And then we have a couple of events in the morning and during the day as well. But those are kind of like the evening kickback, have a cocktail and network and catch up with folks. So anybody's welcome to attend. You can register on our website. We're just super excited to finally, it seems like we're on the other side of this. So good stuff ahead. Thank you all for all that you do for the community. We appreciate each and every one of you. And again, we'll send out all of this information.